Welcome back everyone to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. March is now over. I was lucky enough to see 17 new releases in theaters and on streaming. I'm going to rank them all for you guys right here in a tier list. Before we get started, make sure to like this video. Follow me on all the socials. I have them linked down below. But let's get right to the tier list. Alright, since we have 17 movies today, I'm going to try to go a little bit fast so you guys don't have to be here for too long, but make sure to grab a snack. Makes the video a little bit better. But we're doing it like the same way we always do it. We got the amazing tier, we got the great tier, we got the good tier, we got the okay tier, bad tier, and we got the worst of all, the terrible tier. So let's start it off with the first movie I watched this month. Just line it up like it does, which is Dune Part 2. You know, I've been talking about Dune Part 2 for this whole year, last year, like since I guess when did the first trailer last year come out? April last year. I've been talking about this movie for almost a whole year, and it's finally come out. I'm kind of cheating because I saw it in February, at the end of February, but I do count it as a March movie because that's when it released to the public. Saw it at that early fan screening in February. Wow, what an experience! I will say this is now my favorite IMAX experience I've ever been to. It's now the movie I've seen the most times in theaters with 9 viewings. I saw it in IMAX, I saw it in regular, I saw it in Dolby. I didn't bother seeing in 40x because God, I cannot do 40x. It's just so distracting. If you love 40x, good for you, but I don't understand how you can focus on the movie that way. But let's talk about the movie for a little bit. This is a straight up masterpiece. It's now become my favorite movie of all time. I can't wait for it to hit digital. What Denis Villeneuve was able to do with adapting this book, it's a crazy thing. Like, to think about, how is someone able to adapt this book so well? It's so complicated. You know, there's so many great performances here from Timothée Chalamet. Austin Butler's Fade Routh is terrifying. I'm trying to do his voice a little bit, but I'm not the best at it. But I love imitating his voice. It's so funny. That's like what I want to go as for Halloween, is just Fade Routh. That'd be so cool. Rebecca Ferguson is a strong standout. She's like very scary in this one compared to the first one. And you got you got Florence Pugh for a little bit in here. You got Javier Bardem as one of the big standouts. He got all the laughs in the theaters. Great comedic relief from his character, but also a sad kind of. It's kind of sad where the Fremen went, because that's, you know, the story. The Fremen, you know, start believing, and then, you know, they go all out war by the end. And, you know, you see in the movie, if you've seen the movie, which hopefully you have, the Fremen in the beginning, if they kill people or they themselves die, they take the water. And that's really their religion. That when Paul takes over as the Lisan al Gaib, they take down the Harkonnens, they start burning the bodies. You know, it's just like the first shot of the movie when the Harkonnens are burning the Atreides. I love that shot. Love both those. It's really cool. The visuals of this movie are insane. Greg Fraser is a madman. Might be my, you know, top 3 cinematographers working today. He's so good. And, you know, the movie works so well. It's loud, and the IMAX ratio just works so well with it. And I think the pace is also really well done. Some of my favorite moments before we rank it is, you know, the duel between Fade and Paul at the end. That's great. And then you got just his first sandworm rhyme, and Paul and Chani's first, you know, kiss on the sand dunes. That's scored by Hans Zimmer. This movie needs to win lots of Oscars. If it doesn't, I'm rioting. Dune Part 2. Can't wait to rewatch it. Going in the amazing tier, of course. Next, we got Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, or also known as Megamind 2 Straight to Peacock. Yeah, this is a straight to Peacock sequel that I didn't want to watch, but, you know, I did it for the memes, because everyone was doing it for the memes on Letterboxd. It's as bad as you can think of it. It's, you know, I just want to challenge you guys to try to watch this, because it took me like a couple tries to just finish the damn movie, and it's only like an hour and 20. That's how bad it is. The animation is absolutely terrible. It's streaming. It's like worse than streaming animation. Couldn't even get the original voice cast back, or they didn't ask him, or they didn't want to pay him. And if Will Ferrell asked for some money, you better pay him some damn money, because he made this character like who he was. You know, the first Megamind's so good, kind of just like ruins some of that movie for me watching this. And I hate myself for watching this, but I did it because it's funny to watch terrible movies sometimes. And you need some, you can't just have great movies in your life. You know, some people think so, but you got to watch some terrible movies in your life you know, I think that my thing is, you got to watch terrible movies in your life to make the, you know, great movies feel even greater. That's how I think it should work. And this is a straight terrible movie, and it made Dune Part 2 feel like a goddamn masterpiece once again. Megamind 2 going in the terrible tier. Next up, we got Love Lies Bleeding, this newest A24 film. Kind of went in blind to this one, but this one kind of shocked me. It's kind of like a bodybuilder type of movie, but it also deals with like substance abuse and all that. Katie O'Brien's in this. She was, you know, kind of really underrated, I'd say, because she's not getting a lot of work, but I think that she deserves a lot of work. Just as I started recording this, she got cast in Mission Impossible 8, which is awesome. Good for her on that. She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but, you know, no one remembers her character. I'm happy she's finally getting some more roles. Wasn't she in one episode of The Mandalorian, like that one weird episode? she's great in this. She's built too. Like she's got a lot of muscle on her. Kristen Stewart is awesome in this. I know she has a couple haters, but I really like her, and I like the projects that she picks, and this is another great project from her. I didn't care for Spencer, but I like a lot of her other projects, including, the first Twilight. I think it's pretty good. She also has that one movie called Underwater, which is a cool science fiction movie that I actually like a lot. This one kind of goes balls to the walls crazy in some parts. You got Dave Franco giving a jaw-breaking performance. Not jaw-dropping, jaw-breaking. Let's just say that. If you haven't seen the movie, if you have, you probably understand what that means. But yeah, there's some just crazy body horror in this. Not as bad as, some body horror from other movies, but for me personally, because I'm not the biggest fan of body horror, there's some moments that kind of got me. The ending, like the last 10 minutes, didn't work for me, but that didn't ruin the movie as a whole. I still think it's a great movie. Rose Glass directed this. I think this is her second movie. I think she did a great job. I didn't see Saint Maud, which was her first movie, because I heard it's pretty scary, but I'll probably tune into it sometime. But yeah, this one is a great A24 entry. They're having a great year so far, so it's going in the great tier. Next up, we got Late Night with the Devil. This is a lot of controversy over it because it includes AI images. I'm not going to talk about that here, but I do have a video on the channel talking about that, so I'm not going to talk about that here. Just going to talk about the movie as a whole, because I would be here forever if I want to talk about the AI controversy again. But yeah, this is the best horror movie of the year. It's not hard to do that, but it's still really good, and it tackles some things that I wasn't sure were going to work for me. And I will say they won't work for some other people. Like I've already heard people say the ending didn't work for them. I actually liked the ending. I thought it was really cool. It's about, this late night talk show host is, low on the ratings charts, and he wants to go back up, wants to be the most popular again. So he's going to do some crazy stuff on Halloween, bring some crazy demonic people on. And I really love talk shows, watching talk shows like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, lots of Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers. I love watching all those. Love watching the interviews from them. I think they're just really fun shows. So having a movie, kind of about a talk show host trying to like get back the ratings, do some crazy things on this talk show, I found that really cool. And I love the 70s aesthetic here. Production design was great, outside of, the AI images. But yeah, everything here was pretty cool. David Dastmalchian, give him more leading roles because he deserves it. And this leading role for him was great. I thought he did a great job, especially in those last few moments. So, Late Night with the Devil is going in the good tier. Next up, we got Spaceman. This is Adam Sandler's newest Netflix movie because he, makes a Netflix movie almost once a year, almost twice a year, because he gets money from Netflix. Gets a lot of money. And, this one's okay. I didn't hate it like other people, but I didn't like it like other people. It's just right in the middle for me, because I feel like it's just so low energy that it is very hard to watch. Like it gets pretty slow and pretty boring at parts. Paul Dano plays a spider, and I don't like spiders, so I was kind of scared of him for a second. Who could be scared of Paul Dano? Let's just say that. That's Steven Spielberg's dad. Like, I swear, you gotta not be scared of him. But yeah, the performances are pretty good, I will say. Carey Mulligan, I feel like, makes a lot of the movie for me because of what her character's dealing with, how she deals with things. And I wanted to see more of her character in this and more of maybe the future, because I didn't really care for the ending, and I didn't care for Adam Sandler's character in this. Carey Mulligan, I think, carried the film for me, helped it get to where it was for me. Some of the visuals were pretty cool, but yeah, as I said, the ending was pretty weak. Carey Mulligan, though, was great. Paul Dano voicing a spider was pretty cool, but the script wasn't, polished enough for me. So Spaceman, it's going in the okay tier. Next up, we got Irish Wish. It's another Netflix movie that feels exactly like a Hallmark movie. And, Lindsay Lohan, she's trying to come back into the scene. And I don't think these Netflix movies are going to work. I mean, you got a lot of moms probably watching this, a lot of old ladies probably watching this, probably enjoying it. But I didn't enjoy it, and you're probably wondering, why do you watch it? I just watch as many new movies as I can. I feel like it's pretty cool to do that. And I like ranking up for you guys, and I like watching bad movies sometimes. It's really fun. But yeah, it's one of those movies that feels exactly like a Hallmark movie. Does that mean it's good? No. I'd rather watch a movie that feels like a Netflix movie than a Netflix movie that feels like a Hallmark movie any day of the week. So, Irish Wish, it's going in the terrible tier. Next up, we have the American Society of Magical Negroes. This one, it fits right in the decent tier. It tackles some interesting subjects, and it tackles like the magical elements just a little bit, but I feel like it's just so surface level. Like it didn't do enough with its subject that I really wanted it to. Justice Smith is the lead here. He's one of the most underrated actors, I think, in my opinion. To me personally, he's so good in everything that he's in. I can't wait to see him in that TV Glow movie that's coming out soon. That one looks interesting, but really cool. And I liked his performance. Like here, he has one big monologue at the end that I think really sold me on his performance in the movie. Everyone else, though, I wasn't really sold. I wasn't really sold on the magical elements. It wasn't really sold on the messages that much. The ending was kind of funny. There are some other funny moments in the film, but I feel like it didn't do enough with its, story. It was very surface level, so I'll put it in the okay tier. Next up, we got Snack Shack. This is flying under the radar. I think it's going to be one of the most, or if not the underrated movie of the year, the most underrated movie of the year, and I think one of the most fun movies of the year. I really enjoy this one. It didn't play in a lot of theater markets. I just saw it playing and I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, this looks pretty fun. It's a coming of age movie where two kids need a lot of money and they just start, they start working at the snack shack or at a pool, and that, carries the story in some interesting directions. Of course, it's a coming of age film, so they're going to deal with, girl problems. There's one girl that they're both fighting over. It's very funny at times too, very fast paced, which really worked for me. I love these coming of age films. I think they're really cool. And it has the kid from the Fablemans in it. I thought he was really good in the film. Happy that he's getting another, another movie to be in. Hopefully he gets other ones too. I think he's also going to be in the SNL movie coming out. So that's going to be cool. I'm happy to see him in that. But I really did like this one. It's going to fly under the radar the whole year. I'm going to be going for it though. I'm going to be telling you guys to buy this one, watch on digital when it comes out, because it'll probably be on digital pretty soon. But yeah, I had a really enjoyable time. It's like my third favorite of the year so far, which maybe isn't saying that much for you guys, but it's still something like an 8 out of 10. So I'm going to put Snack Shack in the great tier. Next up, we got Immaculate, which is another horror movie that launched this year. Hopefully we get, more horror movies later this year, because it's so weak for horror this year. But Immaculate, it's pretty, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's better than, okay, a little bit. Sydney Sweeney's performance here, I will talk about that for a minute. Her performance in the first half didn't really sell me. It wasn't the greatest. It just felt like really one-dimensional. But once you get to that third act and last 30 minutes, you really start loving her performance and loving what her character's doing. Her character does some really messed up stuff in those last, moments. Like the last moments of this film, I was like, yeah, this movie's doing some badass things. I like what you're doing here. But if you could have done that the whole movie, then your movie would have been straight up amazing, would have been awesome. Because I feel like the film lacks style for the first, 2 acts, but once that third act hit, it turned pretty cool. It turned like kind of Ready or Not kind of feeling kind of movie. And oh my god, those last few minutes are just seared in my brain, made me kind of nauseous. I was like, what am I watching here? But yeah, performances are pretty good. It needed some help in the script department and pace department, because this first 2 acts are really slow. Third act made up for it a little bit. It made it so it's not a bad film, but it's just an okay horror film for me. Next up though, we got Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Sad to say, this isn't the worst Ghostbusters film, but it still isn't as good as Afterlife, which actually wasn't. It actually was pretty hard to do, because Ghostbusters Afterlife was really great. I thought that movie was excellent. I watched it a couple times, and every time I watch it at home, I still have a really fun time with this one. This one though, it has fun at times, but there's just so much going on, and it's not one that I'm gonna want to turn on and watch, because it's too much happening, too many characters. You have some great cast members in here. You brought the old cast back, which they don't really have too much to do here. The new people from Afterlife have the most to do. And you got people like Patton Oswalt, Camille Nanjiani that they're trying to fit in there. And you got too many plot lines. You got a damn Firemaster plot line going on, which I don't think we needed. This is a Ghostbusters film. Firemaster stuff could have really stayed in the trash. And yeah, you have some plot lines missing from Afterlife, like the romance, the romantic kind of plot line between Trevor and who's the other character? Lucky. That plot line kind of isn't in the movie. I don't understand. There's supposed to be a romance between them. Now they're like hardly even friends. You kind of hardly see them on screen with each other, which is odd. There's just not enough. There's not enough place for all these people in this movie. And then they try to do something with the ghost in here. It's just too much happening. And the third act tries to save it, but it doesn't save it entirely. But still, I didn't hate it like some other people, so I'll put it in the okay tier. Next up, we got Arthur the King. It's the newest true story with Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, he's doing all these, nice movies, all these family movies. And, he's with a dog in this movie, so what can you not like about that? I had a fun time with this one. Saw this one with my mom. She enjoyed it a lot. And, I saw it at the mystery movie. I want to watch it again when it actually comes on digital, because I actually really enjoyed it. Got Simu Liu in here also. But Mark Wahlberg, I think he's having a fun time with this one. It's about, them going on this kind of big race, like hundreds of miles kind of race, biking, running, swimming, and all that. And they find a dog, and they name it Arthur the King, and he goes on the trip with them and all that. Such a fun journey. Kind of sad at times. They try to get you to, cry at times. I didn't cry, because I know their tricks by now. I know what's going to happen. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's a fun time at the theater, fun time for families. Next up, we got Roadhouse. This is the new remake. This isn't as good as the original, but I can't lie, I had a fun time. I didn't really like it that I didn't really like it that much on the first watch, but once I watched it again and I knew what I was going in for, I was like, I actually like this movie. I'm having fun with this one. And I see the controversy. I see a lot of people don't actually like this movie, which I get. You know, it's really silly. It's sillier than the first one, which is saying a lot because that one's pretty silly. Jake Gyllenhaal kind of gives mostly a calm and muted performance throughout most of this, but then he turns into a true badass in the end because like they made him mad. So he's like, once you make me mad, I'm gonna come back and do some horrible things. And then can we just talk about Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor literally comes in, starts playing himself, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's the most funny thing I've seen in a while. Just him playing himself, just, you know, some of the lines he's saying is absolutely crazy. Some of the lines that Jake Gyllenhaal gets to say are hilarious, and I love their fights. The choreography and the fight scenes were pretty cool. Some of the editing didn't really work for me at times, and the pacing is all over the place. Like, I don't really get to really enjoying the film until you have like the middle of the film. Actually, no, maybe like 40 minutes in, where Conor McGregor goes to the Roadhouse bar and, you know, they start their first brawl. That's when the movie actually gets really good and I start really enjoying it. So, Roadhouse, the new remake, I'm gonna put it in the good tier. Next up, we got Imaginary, a new horror film movie this month that didn't work for me at all. Yeah, this one is like so weird, and the bear's name is Chauncey. Who names their bear Chauncey? I literally lowered my rating because I just don't understand why you name your bear Chauncey. This one is also severely slow paced, and it takes a while for you to get to that, you know, horror, you know, realm that they're in some of the trailers. Like, if you haven't seen the movie, they go to this like this realm where Chauncey lives and all like the horror elements live. It's a really weird place, and really weird stuff happens in this movie that I can't really explain because I kind of forgot about it because it did come out at like the beginning of the month. It's an odd film, and it's about a teddy bear that literally is like a giant teddy bear, a giant scary teddy bear at times. That was one of the coolest parts when it turned into a giant teddy bear. There's not enough of it though. Like, it's a PG-13 horror movie. Like, what can you do with that? So, if this is, I think this is Blumhouse too. Blumhouse, you're having a horrible year right now. Stop making your horror movies PG-13. It just doesn't work half the time. So Imaginary, it's going in the bad tier. Next up is Ricky Stanicky. This is the newest comedy that dropped on Amazon Prime Video. Zac Efron, John Cena, many others. I think they're the best though. John Cena kind of saved this movie for me because I think he's the funniest part of the movie, which makes a lot of sense. You know, half of this movie was pretty good. Half this movie I didn't care for. So overall, I'm just really down the middle of this one. I think it's okay. You know, some laughs are pretty good, but they mostly gave all those away in the trailer, which is kind of sad to see. But, you know, that's what a lot of trailer makers do. The trailer studios do that. But, you know, John Cena, as I said, was pretty good. Zac Efron, decent, but he didn't really have enough to do to make me really care for his character. And I like the little thing that they went with, like they made a made up friend named Ricky Stanicky, and they blame him on everything. I think that's what anyone would want to do, just make a made up friend, blame all your stuff on him. That's one way to do it. So Ricky Stanicky is going the okay tier. Next up, we got Damsel, new Millie Bobby Brown Netflix movie. She's just like Adam Sandler, making Netflix movies all the time. Never gonna escape that bubble, I guess. This one is where she is like a queen. She gets thrown into a dragon cave and fights the dragon. It's like, it's trying to be something greater than it actually is, and it's trying to be a great action film, but we all know it isn't, and its visuals are very bland. Millie Bobby Brown gives a pretty good performance, I guess. I don't know how well you can do acting opposite, you know, a CGI dragon at times. She tries. She's really only acting with herself, so I guess I can give her props for that. The action's fine. You know, a lot of people dig this up who don't actually watch good quality movies, so that good for them. Dig it up if you want, but it's just another Netflix movie that is not doing anything to reinvent the genre and just playing it really safe. Which is, that doesn't mean it's bad, no, but doesn't mean it's anything good or great, no. So that's why Damsel is going in the okay tier. Next up, we got Kung Fu Panda 4. I'm sad to say that this one is just, it's fine, but it's just nothing that it should be. It should be a great sequel, but just like the third one, they're just getting worse and worse. I will say 2 is still my favorite. 3 I didn't care for, and 4 it's fine, but I'm never gonna watch it again. I'm not even on rewatches. The best part of the damn movie is Jack Black's in credit song that he gets to sing. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to have Poe be replaced as the Dragon Warrior, because, you know, Shifu says in the film, "You've been Dragon Warrior for so long, you gotta find a replacement." And I'm like, it's been 4 movies for us. How, you know, I don't understand how you can just replace him that fast. It's only been 4 movies, like, and he never gets to go on many missions. And thank God they took the Furious 5 out of this movie. It's just so stupid. You cannot have a Kung Fu Panda movie without the Furious 5, because guess what? Out of the first two movies, the Furious Five make up, half of why those movies are good in my eyes. So you're taking out half the reason to go and see this for other people. The voice acting's pretty good. Aquafina, though, she's just way too overexposed. She's in just way too much. And why does her character get to be the Dragon Warrior? Why not like one of the Furious Five? Doesn't make any sense. They're just going with it to go with it. It's I got bored at some parts just because the action just it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have the same emotional factor. But Kung Fu Panda 4, I'll be nice and put in the okay tier. Alright, the last one we got is Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. I know a lot of people don't like the MonsterVerse movies a lot, but I have a lot of fun with them. I have maybe too much fun with them, but yeah, this one's no different. I think it's the most fun, MonsterVerse movie out of all of them. I think, it stands neck and neck with Godzilla's Skull Island, but I'll have to do a ranking to see which one I like better. Yeah, this one's a lot of fun. I've seen it twice so far. The third act kind of blew my mind with all the cartoonish moments you got here. A lot of cool moments of Kong, but he's just getting beat up the whole damn movie. I feel kind of felt bad for Kong until he gets to team up with Godzilla, but he's just getting beat up the whole movie, and he's getting old. Like, he's getting hurt throughout the movie. He has to get a tooth pulled out, and then he gets frostbite. I'm like, man, you gotta help him out. And the human storyline isn't anything terrible here. I was actually impressed with some of the character moments, especially with Gia. I think she has a pretty emotional storyline, a kind of B storyline here. So the human storyline wasn't terrible. You have so many cool kaiju sequences where it's just the kaiju on screen, and that's, as fans, that's what we wanted, and that's what we got here. And Scar King is such a cool villain, and he beats Kong up throughout most of this movie. And then you have some of these cool scenes with Scar King teaming up with Shimu, and you got Godzilla teaming up with Kong, and it's like fully realized there in the third act. That's when I like really enjoyed it. I'm like, yeah, this is just a popcorn blockbuster that I'm gonna enjoy. I'm gonna defend this whole year. So I don't care. I don't care if you don't like it. I really liked it, so I'm gonna put Godzilla Kong New Empire in the good tier. Now it's time for our favorite thing, which is the final ranking, the terrible tier. We had two movies here, but one movie is easily the worst and worst movie of the year, and that's Megamind. So it's going at the bottom. The bad tier, we got Imaginary, just by itself. Sucks for Chauncey, but it's a bad movie. The okay tier, we got a lot of movies on the okay tier today. I always get confused when I have so many movies here, but Immaculate, I do know that that's going to stay there. Probably second place on this list. I'll probably put Godzilla. I mean, I'm not Godzilla. Ghostbusters. And then, I didn't hate Ricky Stanicky, so I'll put that up there. American Society of Magical Negroes. I'll actually put that above Ricky Stanicky. And then I'd probably go Kung Fu Panda. I'd probably put it like that. Yeah, Damsel, I can go last place on the okay tier. In the good tier, I'm going to leave Late Night with the Devil up there, and then I'm going to put Godzilla Kong New Empire, and then we're going to go Roadhouse, then Arthur the King. Actually, no, Arthur the King over Roadhouse. I think its emotional factor plays a little bit of part why I like it a little bit more than Roadhouse. Roadhouse still enjoy. Yeah, Late Night with the Devil I'll keep in first position until maybe I think about Godzilla Kong a little bit more. Great tier. I'm going to leave it like that. I think Love Lies Bleeding is a little bit better on a filmmaking perspective. Then Dune Part 2 is, of course, the only amazing movie of the year. But we finally did it, though. We finally have an amazing movie this year. It took how many months? It took 3 months, basically, to get an amazing movie. Hopefully we get a lot more this year, but it's looking kind of weak. But still, this month is a lot better for movies than February, January. I saw 17 new movies. So we got a decent amount on the good tier, some on the great tier, one on the amazing tier. So I'm not going to complain. But leave down below in the comments your rankings of all the movies you saw in March. We got a lot of great movies this month. But yeah, leave down below your rankings. If you enjoyed my ranking and my tier list, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're under 600 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.